Either they love you, or they hate you, or they gon' judge you. It is what it is. 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 What's going on, world? Welcome to another great episode of Lingo Ink's Open Mindz. Today we have a wonderful soul on the show here by the name of Marty. Please give Marty a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so today on the show, we have what's on your bucket list. We have the great bucket list coach, Marty, here to explain the bucket list. And if you need help to, achieve anything that you've always wanted to do in this life, Marty is your guy. Marty, welcome to the show. I want you to explain your journey and how you got to this point, to the bucket list.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thanks for having me, first of all, and thanks for that wonderful round of applause. That was awesome.
Definitely.
So I'll go back to my childhood. So I'm originally from a small town in Iowa. So a tiny little town in Iowa, population of about 3,500. I grew up on a farm, doing all kinds of farm work, from cleaning hog barns, which means scooping the behind them, and walking beans. Do you even know what walking beans is? Have you ever heard of that?
Walking beans? No.
Walking beans, yeah.
Educate
And it's not putting them on a leash and walking around with them. It's actually walking down rows and rows of soybeans with a hoe, and we chopped weeds and we pulled weeds. That was like when I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old. So I learned how to work really hard at a young age. And I didn't think that was for me. So my dad always told me, you don't want to be scooping all your life. You better keep your nose in the books. So I did. And I did pretty good in school. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to be when I grew up, and not really sure yet what I want to be when I grow up. So I became a bucket list coach. But in between that, I traveled all around the world and lived in several cities in the United States, and eventually ended up here in South Florida. I've been married for 16 years, second marriage. So we've got a 30-year-old and a 26-year-old and a 1.5-year-old grandbaby. So we stay busy, and I want to make sure. What's that?
I said congratulations on.
Hey, thank you. No, he's awesome. So he keeps us on our toes when we get to see him, which hasn't been a whole lot lately, but hopefully that'll change pretty soon here. He's still in Iowa.
Nice.
So so we have to travel. Became an attorney about 14 years ago. I didn't go to law school until I was about 36, and 35, 36, something like that. So been working in the field of law for a long time, and I was just kind of torn between purpose. What kind of purpose do I have? Am I happy doing what I'm doing? Wasn't quite sure. So went to business seminars to try to figure out business strategies and what I could do to grow my business, and had the pleasure of seeing Travis Bell, the bucket list guy, the world's #1 authority in bucket list adventures. And he gave this amazing presentation, and it really opened my eyes to what I'd been missing out on. I had done a lot of great things, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't writing them down. I wasn't using them as goals to accomplish. I was just, anything that would come up, I would say, yeah, that sounds great. And since his seminar, and I had a chance to meet with him afterwards, and I got to know him, just kind of followed him a little bit, and went to that same seminar a year later, the same conference, and he was speaking again. And he mentioned that he might be starting this bucket list coaching program. So I was like, all right, I'm on board. So I watched for it, and eventually came up, and there was a link to set up a time to talk to him, and I did. And he actually remembered me. He's like, you're an attorney. Why would you want to do this? Like, well, because I'm an attorney. That's why I would want to do this. So that's how I actually became a bucket list coach. That was a short version, but yeah.
So basically, I feel like being an attorney was like somewhat born for you, and you just like there has to be more than this, right? And that kind of sent you on your journey.
Yeah, so it wasn't boring. I'm still an attorney. I love what I do now. So when I went to those conferences, I was practicing half family law, which is divorce, child support, child custody. So everybody constantly fighting,
Mm,
and not only the parties. So you're not only dealing with the husband and wife fighting over the kids and the money and the assets. You're dealing with attorneys that can be very difficult to work with, and then going to court and worrying about the court system and hearings and trials and everything that goes on with a divorce. So that part of my life was very stressful. The other thing I was doing was estate planning, and that's doing wills and trusts and making sure people don't have to go to court when they die, so they can pass on their assets. They can make sure their kids are taken care of, make sure their money's protected when they go, and to make sure it goes to who they want the money to go to, and the kids to go to somewhere where they want them to go to. So that's the part I enjoyed. So with a lot of this goal setting and really working on my own bucket list, to live a life that I'm fulfilled in and satisfied with, and gives me purpose. I was eventually able to drop the family law. And that's been about a year and a half. I've only been bucket list coaching for about 2.5 years, so it only took me a year to do.
it seems like the family stuff, like the energies that you was dealing with from different types, was kind of draining almost, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, draining, yeah, stressful. Lost all my. No, I lost it before. No, it was really stressful.
Right.
It's not an area of law that I particularly loved doing, but that's what I learned to do, and that's what I was doing. So
So you came about the bucket list, and then you have your own bucket list. So did you start doing your own bucket list first, and how was that?
yeah, absolutely. So at that seminar I was talking about, he said, all right, write something down that you want to do, that you've always wanted to do. So I wrote down Club Med. I always wanted to go to Club Med. I'd studied Club Med. My bachelor's degree is in recreation. I usually get a chuckle from that, but it's recreation. It's actually a degree, recreation management. So
So
running, yeah.
what is
I
Club
see that
Med?
look in your eye. Yeah, what's Club Med? So Club Med is an all-inclusive resort. It's a place where adults go to play, basically.
Where's that?
They had
That in Vegas or something? Like
what's that?
where?
No, not in Vegas. This one was in Turks and Caicos. But they're
Oh,
all over the
Club
world.
Med. So everybody put down your bucket list. Club Med. Look into it. Go ahead.
Club Med, Turks and Caicos. It was awesome, and it's adults only, so no kids running around. I love kids. Don't get me wrong. I have my own, and I have my grandbaby. But when I go on a vacation, sometimes it's nice to not have any kids running around. So absolutely fantastic. And had I not been in that seminar, had he not said, "Now take action on this right now," I don't know if I would have gone.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was one of the best vacations I've ever been on. So that's what happened just in the seminar. And
Mhm.
since then, yeah, I've put so many things on my bucket list and ticked them off. So we have this saying in bucket list. I don't have that shirt on today. It's in the back. Maybe I'll spin around. You can see it. It's tick it before you kick it, which means check it off the box before you die.
Mm,
Kick the bucket. So
mm.
tick it before you kick it. So I've done a lot of those.
Well,
One of them is so. Let me back up a little bit. So we use the My Bucket List blueprint, 12 different categories. Most of them, a lot of people have never thought of. Most people think of travel when they think of bucket list. When I talk to people and say, hey, do you have a bucket list? Yeah. Do you have it written down? No. What's on it? Okay. Well, and most of it's travel. They want to go on a cruise, or they want to go to Europe, or they want to do something.
right.
But we've got 12 categories. Touch pretty much every aspect of your life.
Let's go on those 12 categories so the people can understand.
All right. Fantastic. So I think you've got a picture there. So one of mine was the M on my bucket list blueprint is meet your personal hero. So I always wanted to meet Richard Branson. I thought he would be pretty cool. I just loved his philosophy on business and how he treats his employees, and really just kind of took that over when I had my business, or when I have employees. Had no idea how I was going to meet him, and because he doesn't do a lot of public speaking. He doesn't usually take paid speaking gigs, so he's not really around that often. So I put some feelers out, said, hey, anybody know how to get all of Richard Branson? Of course, got nothing back. So I just kept watching the news for him. And one day he Virgin Airlines bought one of the little train lines that we have down here. It's called the Bright Line Express. It goes from Miami to Palm Beach, and it's going to go to Orlando eventually. But Virgin bought it. It's like, all right, great. He likes to do public appearances when he does major purchases. So I was like, all right, I'm signing up for the newsletter. Signed up for the newsletter. A couple months after that, they announced Sir Richard's going to be jumping on the train in Palm Beach and going down to Miami. And I'm in Fort Lauderdale. So I jumped on at Fort Lauderdale and got to Miami. And sure enough, we get off. We're waiting for him. He comes and does his public appearance, and he's there. And it's like, wow, I'll get to meet him. And then he does a little meet and greet. So got to shake his hand, and people were shaking his hand, getting his autograph and taking pictures with him. So I was right there. I talked to him. Hey, Sir Richard, great to meet you. Love what you do. It's fantastic. And he says hi to me, and it's small talk, but it was that. So I had my camera, grabbed my camera. I'm like ready to take my selfie. I'm looking right at him, got my arm around him. And then this guy just barges right in between us. I'm like,
Security?
man,
Security?
you ruined my picture.
Was it security?
No. It was some. I'm pretty sure he was drunk, because he's like, Sir Richard, you should run for president. He's got this poster. He hands him the poster. So he's just all in my way of taking the picture. So Richard signs his poster, signs his shirt, and then his security takes him away. So I'm like, I'm not giving up. I was that close to getting my picture with Sir Richard, right? So I watched to see where security's taking him, and they took him to that escalator. You showed the picture already. So they took him to the escalator. So I run down the stairs. I get down to the bottom of the stairs, hold my phone up, say, Sir Richard, give me a smile. And that's how I got my picture with him. So
there you go.
It would have been much better if he was actually smiling and I had an arm around him, and but anyway, I got the picture, okay?
Right.
And I have a story to tell. And that's what it's about. That's what your bucket list should be about. It should be about experiences and adventure and being able to tell a story, because that's what keeps us going.
Right. It is very interesting because what it sounds like to me, the bucket list is manifestations, right? So when we have, everything's energy. So when we have these thoughts of things that we want to do, what we do, we write them down, right? The thought, and then we say them, and we write them down. That's intention. So now you're bringing it out to the universe, and the universe works for you. So it's very interesting because you manifested all the stuff on your bucket list, right? Take it before you kick it.
Yeah, I haven't done everything on my bucket list, but
Right.
I've ticked off quite a few of them, and it's manifestation. And I'm going to add something to that. You have to take action. You have to have a plan, and you have to actually take action. There are
Definitely.
a lot of people that say manifestation, you just have to think it and it's going to come. That's fantastic. I wish the world worked like that. I've written down lots of things and they haven't come, but I've written down lots of things and then I've taken action, tiny little steps towards those goals, and I've achieved those goals. So yes, manifestation, you put it out in the universe, and once you put something out in the universe, you start noticing things. So have you ever bought like a car?
Yes.
Well, yeah, okay, what color car did you buy?
A white car.
Okay. Did you start seeing more white cars after you bought your white car?
Isn't that the significance of it? And
Yeah, because you're now totally aware of a white car. So you're aware of all the white cars coming around you. It's like when you have a baby. If you've had a baby yet, you usually start noticing all these baby things. If you write your goals down, you start noticing things that'll help you achieve your goal because you're focused on it. You're looking for
atten-
those things.
attention and focus. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So you want me to go through a couple more? I'm not going to
Oh
give a
yeah.
story on
Oh no.
everything. Okay.
Go
So
ahead. This
we
is
started with M. That's meet your personal hero.
got it.
Y is your proud achievement. B is buy something special. So the only materialistic one, and it's not even really that materialistic because it's really buying something special for yourself to give yourself a pat on the back. You know, some people just they don't buy anything for themselves, especially parents, busy parents. You know, they're there, they put their kids first all the time. Sometimes it's good to treat yourself.
Definitely.
U, yeah, U is ultimate challenge. C is conquer a fear. And that's another one of the pictures I threw you. Let me just give you a little insight on that picture.
Is that
So
that picture?
Yvonne, he was the guy in the harness. That's repelling. So nope, not that one. The other one.
There we go.
There you go. So this is Yvonne. Yvonne was in one of my programs, and we got to conquer a fear. And he's like, because I told everybody write everything you're afraid of down, and then you're going to choose one. Which one are you going to conquer? Which one are you going to attack? Which one are you going to overcome and say, okay, I'm not afraid of this anymore. So he's sitting in the course. And I still remember this, and it's been like a little over a year, well, about a year and a half now. And he just sits there. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do this over the edge. And that was doing it over the edge. So it actually knocked out two categories with one, conquer a fear and kind acts for others, because it was for a charity
Oh, that's
that
beautiful.
he was very close to. So he had to raise $1,000 to be able to go over the edge of that 17-story building. And he was deathly afraid of heights. He was so afraid of heights that he turned red as soon as he said it. He said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going over the edge. And as soon as he had that realization, wrote it down, he put his hands up in the air like he'd already won. And he was scared to death. He was scared every time he asked for a donation because he knew it was that much closer to him actually having to do it. And that actually helped his donations because he told people, and everybody was like, all right, I'm going to give you $100 instead of 50. So he raised the money and he went over the edge, and his fear of heights is gone. He got down at the bottom. He was just like, it was amazing. It was the best thing ever.
I
Two
think
months later, he went skydiving.
wow.
So
I think
just
that's one of the
phenomenal.
greatest ones that I've heard so far because once you're able to conquer your fears, I mean, everything else is like it's easier, you know? Um,
Yeah, fear holds us back from a lot of things in life. Public speaking, one of the biggest fears that people have. Afraid
yeah.
of the dark.
So
Yeah.
do you have people that write these types of things and you literally go in the dark with them or you have them go on stage and talk to people?
Yeah, well, that's part of it. We don't really go through the action part of them doing it. Now, I was there when Yvonne went over the edge. I did it too, so it's like, all right, if you're going to do it, I'll do it. Um, so I thought it was fantastic. I loved it. It's like flying down the building, but
That's
that's me.
that's amazing that you're able to do these other people's bucket lists with them also. And I'm sure
Oh yeah,
there's a
no,
lot of
that's yeah, no, that's a great part of the programs is that they're usually group programs. And now we're not doing them live, but we're doing them online. Uh, and you get to hear what other people want to do. So if we've got 10, 15 people in the room, they're chatting about, oh, I want to do this. And then it's encouraged to steal people's ideas, to join them in their ideas, to collaborate in what they want to do. So yeah, absolutely. It makes it a lot of fun. And when we take these programs to businesses and they're working with their teams and their employees, it generates some camaraderie and it generates employee engagement. And if you've got a fulfilled life at home, you're going to have a better life at work. And that's what we do. So yes, absolutely. It's so much fun to participate with these.
That's amazing. Has there been any like outrageous things people have put on their lists and that wasn't able to be obtained to do?
Well, yeah. So here's what we do. So when we're in the programs, I usually say, okay, I want you to come up with something fairly easy. I
Oh,
want them to get a win under their belt. Okay, so something fairly easy, simple to do, doesn't cost a whole lot. And then I want you to set maybe a midterm range. So something that you know you're not going to achieve in a year. Maybe it's going to take you 2 or 3 years. And then a long-term dream, like dream big. What do you want to do? How big of a dream do you want to have? And people work towards those. So those are, you got to take small increments and small actions and small steps to get to where you want to be. But yeah, there are things on my list that I haven't done yet. So if I've ever crossed everything off, I'm not dreaming big enough. So dream big. If you fall short, big deal. Look what all the things you got to do. If you dream small, great, you accomplished it. Great, that's all you accomplished. So think big.
And what else? I know you was going through them, and I kind of stopped at
Yeah, we stopped at C, conquer a fear.
conquer fear.
Then so BUCK is kind acts for others, and that's that picture with the backpacks there. So a couple more participants from one of my programs, they had been doing it. They do a lot of fundraising, so they're involved with a lot of nonprofits. That's Steve and Karina there. Oh, there's the ticket before you kick it. So that's what that is. So
that
you see a hashtag,
hashtag?
ticket. Yeah,
Oh.
hashtag tick it, not ticket like when you get a speeding ticket. Tick
Right.
it before you
Don't want
kick
the-
it.
No,
No, you don't want a speeding ticket.
So
Yeah, so
hashtag, everybody go check out this hashtag it's on Instagram, right? Twitter and all that.
yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm. Yep, and you'll see a lot of things that people have been doing all over the world. We've got coaches in, gosh, I believe over 20 countries now. So so that was Karina and Steve, and like I said, they were involved in quite a few nonprofits, and they do fundraising for different projects every month. And they took on creating 175 filled backpacks for foster kids. So kids that have been removed from their parents because of neglect, abandonment, or abuse, and they're at either a relative's house or foster family. They don't always have everything they need to start the school year. So she made it her mission with the kind acts for others to raise enough money to completely pack 175 backpacks.
That's beautiful.
And so that was the stack of not even a portion, a small portion of the 175. It filled a huge storage container. It was absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
And the kids loved it. So much fun. So that's kind acts for others. The next, so the E is express yourself. The T is take lessons. L is leave a legacy. And that's how I really tied in the bucket list experience or bucket list planning when I first saw Trav Bell at that first conference, because like I said, I'm an attorney. I do estate planning. So estate planning is preparing for your death and leaving your legacy, leaving behind everything to your family. So I tied that in and I said, having a will should be on your bucket list. And that's where the legacy comes in. It can be a lot of other things too. Write a book. I had one participant that created a quilt with all the T-shirts that she had been keeping from her kids. Parents collect all your T-shirts. They don't want to throw anything away. So she just made a quilt out of them. And that was a legacy piece. She also sang the songs that she used to sing to them when they were little. So leave a legacy can be anything. It doesn't have to be big. It can be really small. One of my favorite categories as well, idiotic stuff. We can always think of a lot of idiotic stuff we used to do or we did when we were younger,
Hmm.
but putting something on your list that's idiotic, it takes a little bit of thought, and it
I,
keeps us
I
young.
I want to hear some of the idiotic things that people have put on their list.
Those are usually private, so I don't necessarily have a confidentiality clause, but
Oh, we're not
no,
names. We
no, no,
can incident.
idiotic stuff. So one of the things I did was always wanted to drive a race car. So they've got a little speedway in Vegas. This is why I actually went out to Vegas once. I was like, let's do that little speedway. So it's like a half-mile course, and you can go pretty fast on it. That was pretty idiotic. Now I've got cliff diving on mine. Some people will do skydiving. That's it's either a conquer a fear or proud achievement or idiotic stuff. So it falls in there somewhere. Um, there's some fun things on there. Nothing crazy.
No, I know.
Running with the bull. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
stuff
something
like
I'm.
that, like something
Yeah,
fun, but it's kind of risque type.
yeah, yeah. And it's to each his own. Something that's idiotic might be like, oh wow, that sounds like an amazing thing to do. So uh, it's everybody gets their own definition of it.
So would that kind of almost tie in with the fears too? No, because that's some not because the idiotic thing is like something that they're not fearful of. It just like a certain type of risk that they may or may
Yeah,
not get into.
it could be. You can cross over a lot of things, like express yourself and take lessons. Those have a lot of crossover. Even the conquer the fear and kind acts for others. That was a little bit of a crossover because of the having to go over the edge of the building to raise money for a charity. So we can tie anything together, and really, the more you tie together, the better it is because then it makes it even a bigger why. Why do you want to do this? So it's a really good idea to tie them together, but they can be completely separate as well. So idiotic stuff, it's kind of fun to talk about what things people have done.
No, I actually like it because it opens people up more for to themselves, more than anything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
how
Yep.
would you say when your clientele comes to you from the beginning, and how they are once they accomplish some of the bucket list? Because obviously we have stuff on our list that we need but how do once they start doing like once they lead like what do you see the most that people get out of accomplishing some of these things on the list?
Yeah, great question, and it really leads to um, that sometimes it's not about the list. It's about who you become on the other side of that list. Who you become when you've accomplished that, when you've conquered your fear. Like Yvonne, he's going skydiving. He's not afraid of heights anymore. It's freed him up to really be who he wants to be and do the things that he looked at that were like so out of the question. And then he can take another step forward in doing something else that he was afraid of. I'm going to give another example of uh, somebody that it just made such an unbelievable impact in such a short amount of time. So I did a program for some foster care kids that aged out of the system. That means they turn 18 and then they're done. They've got to go somewhere else. So it's a facility, nice place, residential place, where these 18 to 22-year-olds can go for transition. They can go there for college. And this 19-year-old girl was in my program, and we got to conquer a fear. So I'll go back to that. And she was reluctant. She didn't want to raise her hand, but she did because I was going around trying to make sure everybody was participating. And she's like, I'm afraid of the dark. I'm like deathly afraid of the dark. I sleep with every light on. So I never have friends over. I don't have a boyfriend. I'm embarrassed. Every light in the house is on when I go to bed.
Mm.
So like, all right, great. That's something to look at. So we looked at it and we looked at a couple steps that she could do, and everybody was supportive. That's the one of okay. There are a couple rules. You can steal, cheat, and collaborate with anybody in the group. So that's okay. it's never okay to judge anybody for what they have or what they want to do. Okay, so
Right.
it's a judgment-free zone, and everybody stuck with that, and everybody was great. They were all very helpful, and we came up with some ideas for her. It's like, okay, well, why don't you turn the light off in the living room and leave the light on in the bedroom, and then do that for a night, and then turn maybe another light off and do that for a night, and then turn another light off and do that for a night. She actually did it. She followed through with it. I came to do a follow-up a couple weeks later, and she just ran over to me. She's like, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I sleep with the lights off. And she was just like free. She was like a whole new person. And she's like, and guess what else? I went swimming twice. She was also afraid of water, afraid of swimming. So it's just an amazing transition. And that was something that happened like that. So it's very cool to see.
No, it's very cool to actually hear. And then when I met you on the clubhouse and I was hearing about this, it was extraordinary. I was like, this is like something, people have bucket lists and stuff like that, but you know, I feel like they almost have a fear to even attempt it, but you're providing a service that actually like supports, and you have other energies around to help support people doing that, and even some fears and doubts about some things that someone may have internally with themselves, for them to take that on with themselves as well is profound. Um, so it's like almost like the bucket list is like almost like a vision boardish, but the fear part of doing these things and the support from a group and an instructor like yourself is uh, is amazing to say the least from what I heard. So I was like, wow. Because you always hear people have bucket lists, like okay, and some people they'll do it themselves, but a lot of people
Mhm.
they don't have the ambition, or they just say, oh, I don't know. But when you put in a circumstance where people can support you and give you ideas on how, just like you just gave an example, you know what, you don't have to fully go in, turn off the light, and this time turn off the light for instead of light, use a night light. I'm sure she probably uses that, and then she just full went out, and just like the young gentleman that went off the edge, now he's now I don't know, he must be flying somewhere right now.
Yeah, he's free to fly. Yeah.
I mean, that's liberating, because I feel like a lot of times we're self-limiting ourselves, and
Hmm.
and that's just like what type of way is that to live? And I'm not sure if a lot of these fears come from past life traumas, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. But the bucket list, it just sounds like a lot of fun. So what could you tell people? And right now in 2021, we I mean, you want to talk about fear factor? I guess 2020 was that fear factor that people can knock. But what can you tell people now in this day and age, right now, as far as the bucket list and I guess fear, because that's what I feel like is going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. So let me tell you the other two categories. The last
Oh
two
yeah,
categories
let's
are satisfy a curiosity
mm-hmm.
and travel adventures. So we end with travel adventures because that's what everybody thinks of when they think of a bucket list. But to go into 2021, we're already in February. So you gotta move forward, and really, it's all it is goals. It's just personal goals in areas that you probably have never thought of. I certainly didn't, and I was setting goals like I was setting financial goals. I was setting goals for my business. I was setting goals for, big things. I wasn't setting goals for what I was curious about or what I was afraid of or uh, different things like that. I did have a couple vacation goals, and I fulfilled on that right away. But really putting yourself out there and doing something new, just to see what it's like, sure. But when you can attach a why to what you're going to do or what you want to do, it gives it so much more meaning. And what I mean by that is a lot of people wander around. I was probably one of them, living a life by, it just came at me. I didn't design it. It was by default, a life of default. So with a bucket list or creating any kind of goal system, you're designing your life. You are actually putting it on paper and working that plan that you create to do that. So if anybody's got any I don't know, the blinders on, or they're just not sure about what the year is going to bring, create it. Write it down. Create what you want life to bring. You create your own happiness. You get up every day. You get to choose. Am I going to be happy today? Am I going to be a victim of circumstance today? I swear, if you choose to be happy, even in the worst times, you can make yourself happy. Yeah, you're going to get up bombarded by all the outside influences. But if you look at them and say, okay, got me down for an hour. Okay, well, next time maybe try to let it get you down only for 55 minutes. And time it. How long does it take you to get over the bombardment of negativity? And once you can get that down to 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you're golden.
Or no minutes.
Yeah, or no minutes. No minutes. Yeah. No
So-
minutes is kind of tough. Even the best of us have we have times. I'm not saying I'm the best of us, but I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good about staying positive. I can hear a lot of negativity. I dealt with it with my family law practice that I haven't had to do for a year and a half now. But even with that, I was able to and it's not suppressing it. It's just not letting it bother me and creating something happy, finding gratitude in something else. So if I found some form of sadness or something that upset me, I would find something that I was grateful for. So practicing gratitude is really a great way to find happiness and create happiness, even if you're not.
Gratitude is a must. We all have to be appreciative of first ourselves, the breath that we have in this, and the energy that we have within ourselves, and focus attention, intention, and action. This is what really all this is about. And you focus your attention on things that make you happy, positive things, nature, all these things will take you out of the paradigm of everything that does not serve you for your higher purpose. And that's what me and Marty over here speaking about today. And the bucket list will be checked off once you focus attention, intention, and action on your goals, which is anything and everything. So Marty, how long have you been doing this bucket list?
The bucket list coaching, about 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Well, maybe a little, yeah, almost 3. So yeah, 2.5. Well, yeah, let's we'll call it 2.5.
That's amazing. And do you have a website people can go on to check out your stuff?
Yeah. So yeah, if you go to bucketlistcoach.com /Marty MARTY dash Elberg ELBERG, that'll bring you up to my bucket list website. There's a whole bunch of us. So if you just go to bucketlistcoach.com, you can search for a bucket list coach all around the world.
Yeah, but make sure you get Marty, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Yeah. Or go to my Instagram. Just go to my Instagram.
Which is on it's at bucketlistcoach.martyelberg. It's on the screen right now. And if you're listening on Spotify, Google, Apple, it will be in the description link as well. Marty, is there anything else you want to add on to tell people about their bucket list?
Go out and live your dream. Live your best life. Life's too short not to live your best life.
Seriously.
We're not guaranteed tomorrow, right? Both of us were in a car accident recently, so it's a scary thing.
It's a scary thing, but the scariest thing is for you not to continue to move forward and
Hmm.
stay stagnant of things that already happened. These attachments, you can't attach yourself to things that already happened. We are in the present, we are in the now, and we're moving forward in the future. But we can't do that. We stay stuck to things that do not serve us. Me and Marty made it through to our circumstances. We're still happy and we're healing and just moving forward in the graces that that we have within ourselves, and that's what we preach and teach to people outside of ourselves. And it's such a wonderful thing. And I thank Marty for everything he's done, because he's done the work for himself, and then now he's able to help other people to check off things to help themselves as well. Um, Other than that, we thank you, Marty, for being on the show today. Please give Marty a big round of applause. Yes. So stay tuned for another great episode of Lingo Ink's Open Minds, brought to you by lingoinkboutique.com. We have the Zodiac lines out and more coming out soon. Right now, you see the Aries line. Marty, what sign are you, Marty?
Gemini.
Gemini will be coming soon. Gemini's been pressing me also as well. They will be out soon. I have affirmations line, the I am line coming out, and other lines as well. So stay tuned. Marty, again, we appreciate you. Go check out Marty, ladies and gentlemen, at bucketlistcoach.martyelberg, and we'll have the description to the website. And do not choose anybody else but Marty, okay? I'm telling you guys that right now. And until the next show, peace, love, and light to you all. You. Either they love you or they hate you, or they gon' judge you. It is what it is. 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 Being your own, living your truth. All these egos and pride got something to prove. I got my diva inside, cooped in a coop. Keep your feelings inside. I do what I do. I move how I move. Choose what I choose. Third eye's active in motion. Magnificent views. There's too many options, so much to choose. What is for me is just not what's for you. Vice versa. Let it all go. Most of it's not worth it. Just stay focused on your goals and life purpose. Be a student of this life and never stop learning. Never stop learning. Nah, there's some shit you just gotta accept. Your reality is created by the thoughts in your head.